We can speak now to former Israeli ambassador to the U.S., Michael Oren, who is joining us. Ambassador, it's good to see you again. I want to start with what has been an emotional day for Israel with the living hostages returned, the first remains of the deceased. Just describe what this day has meant.
Good to be with you, Sumi, on this truly extraordinary day. It has been deeply moving for all Israelis today. It's difficult to explain sometimes to people who don't live in Israel what is the meaning of redeeming hostages. It's deeply ingrained in our Bible, and it's an integral part of Israeli society and culture to do everything that's possible to release hostages, to secure their freedom. And today it happened. It happened through an extraordinary act of diplomacy by President Trump and his team, by Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. And I think all Israelis feel, right, left, religious, secular, up and down, feel deeply indebted to the president and his envoys.
I also want to ask you about what we heard President Trump say to the Knesset. He said it's the historic dawn of a new Middle East. And he also said it is time to translate these victories against terrorists on the battlefield into the ultimate prize of peace and prosperity for the entire Middle East. In your view, is the war over?
Well, first of all, I thoroughly agree with the president. This is an extraordinary opportunity. It's an opportunity that we haven't seen perhaps in generations. And why is it an opportunity? Because the 20 points that have been forged by President Trump and his team were backed by an immense array of Middle Eastern leaders who don't necessarily agree with one another, certainly not with the state of Israel. And he got them all to sign on this document, which addresses not only the end of the war in Gaza, that restores the freedom for the hostages, but addresses the question of broader Israeli-Palestinian peace and regional stability, expanding the Abraham Accords. It's truly an elegant and visionary piece of diplomacy. But it hinges on the fact that whether the next step is the disarmament of Hamas, whether Hamas will give up its guns. If Hamas does give up its guns, then the process of reconstructing Gaza, of reviving Gaza and turning it into a certainly prosperous and peaceful area will begin. And then the subsequent stages can begin as well, including the field of broader Israeli-Palestinian peace.
We did see the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu say today that he is committed to this peace. But just yesterday, he said the military, quote, campaign is not over. And in our piece just then, our special correspondent Fergal Keane was sitting down with the King of Jordan, and he asked him, do you think this right-wing coalition in power is committed to a lasting peace? And he said essentially, no. What do you make of that?
Well, I listened to the King's interview, and I deeply respect him. I disagree on some points. Yes, there is a very right-wing coalition in Israel. That coalition could change. We are a democracy. And if Israelis believe there's a genuine opportunity for peace, they will always vote in a peace-minded coalition. That's been the case in the past. And even Netanyahu can respond to opportunities. The last peace agreement between Israel and the Palestinians was signed by none other than Benjamin Netanyahu back in 1998. And he again signed the last major peace agreement between Israel and an Arab country, which was the Abraham Accords in 2020. So things could change. Much will happen on the ground. I don't believe, and I'm not a spokesman for the Israeli government, let's be clear about that Israel has much of a military option right now. I don't think Israel is going to renew its campaign in Gaza City. That Palestinian population has now gone back to that city and cannot be easily removed again or encouraged to evacuate that city. But tremendous pressure can be put on Hamas by other means. And we saw how that pressure has been effective. It's brought to bear by the Qataris, by the Turks, the major backers of Hamas. Hamas can be denied arms. It can be denied cash. It can be denied the ability to steal humanitarian aid from the Palestinian people, and Hamas has always stolen about 60% of that aid. There are many tools yet to be exploited, to be harnessed, to bring about this event.
Ambassador, we heard the King of Jordan also say that the region is doomed if there is no path there to a Palestinian state. I know that's something that the Israeli Prime Minister has rejected, but wouldn't the ultimate way to defeat Hamas be giving the Palestinians that right to self-determination in a way that does not involve Hamas?
I certainly believe that addressing the Palestinian issue and giving the Palestinians a diplomatic future is key to Middle Eastern stability. Middle East is host to a lot of states and organizations that seek to undermine that stability, not the least of which is Iran, which is now trying to rebuild its military capabilities, Hezbollah in Lebanon. Reaching Palestinian-Israeli peace will certainly be a major contribution to Middle East stability, but it's not a panacea. It's not a cure-all. And the basic causes of instability in the Middle East are extremism, Islamic extremism of all different types, and that has to be addressed as well. We can make a major contribution. And I believe that it's essential both for Israel, for the United States, for our Arab friends, to try to use our best efforts to achieve that historic breakthrough.
Ambassador, it's always good to have you on with us. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Sydney. Thank you very much.
Well, let's